Om Shanti, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to the Monday workshop. Today's speaker, we have Sister Joanne. Sister Joanne is from Vancouver. She has been with Baba for many decades. She has a personal experience with Baba, Bab Dada. She has a lot of personal palna with a lot of dadis. She is a free spirit. She explores world. She explores Gyan as if she just came into Gyan. So every day, most of you have seen her in our morning Murlis. She's so much excited to when she listens to the new points what Baba shares in the Murli. So that inquisitiveness to an eye for newness and the desire to know the deep secrets is what pulled most of us into Gyan, right? And the Sister Joanne is one of that special souls who have who is part of our family. So today, my special request is to wear that lenses of how you got into Gyan, what inquisitiveness which is there, what desire to know the truth is there within you that pull you into Gyan as you're listening to the sharing of Sister Jan. Sister Jan is going to trigger a lot of your good memories from your childhood, and it will be very exciting evening today. So fasten your belts. And so we invite Sister Joanne. Welcome, Sister Joanne.
Hello, very nice to see you again, Harsha, and everyone else that's joined in. Thank you.
You.
Yeah, it was interesting that you said that I would trigger some good stuff. And maybe not so much good stuff too, for balance. So I'm just going to go right back to the beginning. I was born in Vancouver, and before I arrived, there was another child that had been born before me who died crib death. And about 2 years after that, I was born. But the anxiety of, I was viewed as the possibility of me dying. So the anxiety level, especially with my mother, was off the charts. And so there was a short period of time, and then another brother came. So about 14, 15 months after I was born. And what that did was that pushed me away. So there was no real relationship because of fear of me dying, like the brother. So that created dynamics immediately for me as a child. And I was thinking about this today and talking to myself, like, what was it that I felt as a child? And it was of not being wanted. That was the key. And what did that do, to me as I'm growing up? And then I was also born, that anxiety from being in that womb created so much anxiety that I actually came out with a diagnosis when I was born called celiac, which means not being able to digest. It comes in the form of not being able to digest food, but I couldn't digest what was going on. And who is going to digest all the dynamics that adults, you're just in it. And so I realized very soon on that I was a problem for that family because I was a fighter, and I didn't die, but it was like they were always waiting for me to die. Like it's like pathetic, right? But that's the reality. And then with celiac back then, which is in the 40s, they the only thing that they could feed me was, I lived up for 5 years on bananas and rice. That was it. And then it's getting to this period of time where they're going to have to, grade 1 is coming up. And so what happened is they decided to feed me like everybody else. And by the time I got to grade 1, I was in school for about 14 days because I was sick with everything. I was like, so now I have to repeat grade 1. And it's like, oh no. But I don't really kind of know what that means, right? I just know I have to do it. But the unfortunate part was that I had to be in the same class with my brother. I was like, oh my God. And that went on for 11 of the 12 years. Give me a break. And it's like, and so the pressure was on me. So another thing, a great thing that my mom had experienced was going to Montessori. She was from Scotland. And so she had this experience of Montessori school, which is very different from regular schools. And it's zooming in on the artistic things for the child and whatever else. There might be people online who know about it. I don't know much about it, but my father said no. It's like, so I'm now being thrown into the system, but also within my own family dynamics. There's this idea that the boys need the education and the girls, well, whatever, and that was just how it was back then. Hopefully it's changed. But this dynamic of being in the same class with my brother was a problem. And I can remember my family is Catholic. And so I was raised Catholic and Catholic schools. And by the way, I had no idea what I'm going to be talking about tonight. I'm going with it, okay? Because there's something to learn for me from doing this. And, but anyways, so one of the things that I recall, grade 4, so now my first name is Maureen. I won't get into how I got to Joanne. It was just my middle name because that was drama. But and my brother's name was Kevin. So the priest would be sitting there. It was always a big deal. So this priest would read out and make comments to these grade 4 students in front of the whole classroom. And my brother, because the K came before M, he was always praised, and then it was then my turn. And then you have to stand up and go in front of this priest. It's like, oh my God, give me a break. So anyways, there I am. And it's not good for me because by the time I'm in grade 4, I'm fed up. I'm fed up with the competition. And the competition led because then I would take my marks home and then I would be asked, why are you not as good as your brother? Your marks are terrible. Oh, get ready. So by the time I got to grade 8 and 9, I have learned how to put, like I'm cheating now, to shut my father up because I gave up. I'm depressed. I don't feel I have any support. And I just feel like my whole life is a lie. And And how the heck did I get into this? That's the question, right? And it's like, wow, this is rough. And I mean, even when I went to, because like Catholics, they go they go to confessions. When I went to confession, I'd continue with the lie. I would never tell people what was really going on with me, how I felt. Until grade 11, I ran away. That was it. I'd had enough of the whole kit and caboodle, the fighting, the yelling, the screaming, the hitting, all of it, because it was all going on and it was all family secrets. So in regards to my family, I thought they were hypocrites. I knew a big word at a young age, right? And it was like, what is this? And I can remember, I lived in North Vancouver, and we lived at the top of Lonsdale, if anybody knows Vancouver. And I can remember standing at the top and just screaming out to God, where the heck are you? You know, like, what are you doing for me? Like, this is crazy what's going on. And I meant it. I was ticked right off. And because of the circumstances, I actually was not even being viewed as me. Like, I had the question of who am I very early based on all of this that was going on. Anyways, eventually I got away from it and I stayed away for years. It was just too harsh for me. And also I didn't want to be under the thumb of these adults anymore. I'd had enough and I didn't find, there was no love, didn't know what it was. And being compared, very competitive, and I was abused. I mean, I'm just giving you the background because it's really what led me to search for God. So if I had not had this background, there might not have been a search. And even when it came to friends, if they weren't Catholic and weren't approved by my parents, especially my mom, I didn't have friends. So I never knew what it was to have a friend. And everything was dictated for me. There was no freedom, and I'd never had a job or anything. I mean, I was so ill-equipped for going out into the world. It's like, you can see where this is going to go. The marks are horrible. I was funny, though. You know, I had a sense of humor, and I had something that kept me going. But that's how I entered the world as a young adult. And I didn't have a clue what I was going to be getting into. It was like, oh my gosh. And that was so while all my friends were at university, I entered the school of hard knocks. And I saw things that most people haven't seen because of it. The system didn't know what to do with me because I couldn't hold a job. I didn't have any training. And so they did some testing and said, oh yeah, you'd be fine in hairdressing. And so that's where the hairdressing began. And that worked okay for a bit, but in order for me so when I was actually going to school, I was working at nighttime as a go-go dancer to pay for my bills. So thank God I had a lot of zeal and enthusiasm, because to go to school all day and then dance at night and then go and do that like for nearly a year, that's a lot of zeal and enthusiasm to get through. And so that was the beginning of meeting really nice people. I ended up working for fantastic people, but I had itchy feet, and one thing led to another. I left Vancouver because I didn't want my parents knowing what I was doing. I didn't want them knowing anything about me. And so, when you're looking for love, right? Because this is what we're looking for when we're searching for God. We're actually looking for love. And so I tried all of that. I was a great believer of try everything once. So that got me into a lot of trouble. I'm just saying. Oh, yeah, so I got a lot of experiences and a lot of pain and a lot of sorrow. And it wasn't working very well. And so eventually I decided that, well, Buddhism came. I don't even remember how I even got into it, but I decided, well, of course, I didn't have any affinity for God because he hadn't done anything for me as far as I was concerned. So Buddhism, they don't really believe in God. So of course, that makes sense that I would go walking into that path. And I did it for quite a number of years, but I wasn't very good at it. I couldn't cross my legs for meditation. And they kind of do that. So, but I enjoyed the study. So I've always been an avid learner. I love learning. And so I learned as much as I could and tried it. And meanwhile, I'd ended up marrying this guy who was also into Buddhism. And that when I saw his anger one day, I knew, okay, that's it. That's not going to work. So back then, that was a matter of, I wanted a divorce. So a year after, and you had to wait at that time for 3 years. So I took off with some people that I knew who were Buddhists, and I went to England and I lived there for a year or so. And realized that this really wasn't also working. So I came back and I had finally reconnected with my parents. So I ended up going to Kamloops where my parents were. And it was there that I got blamed for the divorce. It was like, oh my God. I don't know. So anyways, one day I just said point blank, I said, it takes two to tango. And, I would really appreciate it if you would stop thinking I'm responsible for everything that's going on. That's not working. And my father finally backed off, and him and I actually started to have a good relationship. But eventually, he got sick. And he died. And he died of cancer. He was a very angry man. And he could be quite violent. And you never knew what was going to happen or when it was going to happen. And I never knew what would trigger him. And so anyways, but we had kind of worked our way through things. And I can remember in the hospital, him and I had a one-on-one, and he was drugged right out. But he said to me, so what's going to happen to me? And so I used the knowledge of Buddhism and told him what possibly was going to happen to him. He said, I don't understand it. I said, it's okay. You don't have to. And you'll be fine. And then the next time I saw him was in the church, dead. But something weird happened. This was my first really weird thing. And so the funeral, I guess about an hour or so of time. And right up there, up on the altar part of the Catholic Church I kept seeing this light. It never left, this tiny point of light. And I'd asked my godmother, who was on one side, do you see that light up there? And she says, I don't see anything. And my brother was on the other side, and he also hadn't seen anything. But I saw this point of light for the whole period of time. And I thought, that's really interesting. And it was just hovering. but I saw it and I thought, what is that? That's really cool, you know? So that was, I figured, oh, well, that's probably my dad's spirit or something, right? And it's just kind of hanging around to see what's going on. Anyways, I left it like that. So that was the end. So that was my first kind of like, that was odd for me to see that. And then I did not know what to make of it. But as time unfolds, I was quite athletic and was into bodybuilding, and I'd had an interest in that to stay fit. And I had been asked down to another area from where I was living to spend some time with some friends that I had. One was a neurologist, and they were they were into natural things, doctors and stuff. And so I went down to visit them. And the day I had to get back, I had my own salon by this time. And so by the time I get into the car and I'm driving back and I've got things on my mind, and there's this, it's 2-lane highway, and there's all these beautiful trees on both sides, and it's the Okanagan. And there's me, there's 3 of us on the highway, and it's Sunday. So you've got the Sunday drivers, seniors, they're leading the way very slowly. And behind them is these 2 young guys. They're just bebopping and having a great time. And then there's me. And I decided that because I really did need to get back and attend to my business. So I decided to pass because there was no cars coming the other way. It was just clear for a long period of time there. You could just see the highway. I decided to pass that first car. I pulled out, got onto the other side, and I'm just up to that car window of that young guy, and he must have got fed up with the lead car as well, and without looking, pulled out and all of a sudden saw me. And we're doing 60, 65 miles per hour. And to not be hit by him, I veered off and I got caught in soft shoulder. So it's like tiny stones. And what that did, it sent me flying off. And I saw this pole. I could hear this pole go right by me. And the next thing I know, I've taken off like an airplane at 60 something miles per hour. And I'm now free fall in the air. I'm off the ground. The whole car is off the ground. And I realized immediately, I went, you just have to relax. There's not a thing you can do about this. The car is in the air. And the car rolled over, knocked me out, rolled over again, landed on all fours, heading towards the lake. So like I'm about 20 feet. I come to, I look around, and the car's on an angle. It's totally crumpled. The left side looks like a shell. There's no more of that. The only part that was still viable was where I was sitting. The rest of the car was destroyed. And that accident, wow. I took a look and I went, the poles didn't get me. The twice in the air rolling over and landing on all fours, that didn't kill me. And the lake, the car stopped, got stuck in the gravel and didn't move forward. 3 things in that accident. And anyways, an ambulance was called. And when I'm really uncomfortable and nervous, I joke. It's my go-to. And the driver, the ambulance driver said, "Stop joking around. This is serious." I'm like, I don't want it to be serious. Like, my job is now like, oh my God, like I'm in serious trouble. So they take me to the Penticton Hospital, and I called my friends who were just the next county over, and they came and got me. And I stayed with them for quite a while, and they healed me back. And but I had to get back because my business, now I can't work because I'm a wreck. There's a bump on my head that goes past my nose. I've got black eyes. I look like a raccoon. And I've got a community waiting for me to go back and serve. And it's like, wow. This is something. So I knew this. So we go from a tiny point of light to now I'm in serious trouble because I also now owe the bank money. And my godmother had provided me funding for that, but I now owed the bank. And the banker, when I get back up to this, where I belong, where the business is, the banker is hardcore on me. He said, "You have to pay by ... And I'm going, okay. So I hired a lawyer who found me very attractive. So I fired him, got another lawyer. It's like the games that people were playing with me. It was like, this is astounding. So I get out of that. That all kind of worked out. My godmother never had to pay a cent. The lawyer, sometimes circumstances make you do things before they really should happen. And so I couldn't make any money. I got enough money to be able to pay the bank off. And I made sure that there was all kinds of small bills because I was really resentful of his attitude towards me to have to pay it back. He really put the pressure on me, and I was already under pressure. But anyway, so now I'm starting to think about God. I'm thinking, why did I not get killed? Because there was 3 opportunities all in that one, 3. And it didn't happen. So that was the beginning of me starting to think, maybe God's actually doing something for me, because I didn't think he had done anything before. So, I mean, that was pretty dramatic, right? Anyways, eventually I end up in a place called Wishes, because I really needed some wishes coming true. And in that place, it was a co-op in Vancouver. And one day I was visiting with the person who I worked under, and it was a Sunday. She's saying, "Keep talking. I have to get ready for something." And I'm not nosy, but I said to her, "Well, where are you going?" She says, "I'm going to this place. There is a women's meeting, and they're going to be talking about spirituality." And I said, "Oh, okay. Can I come?" So I invited myself. And it was like a wish come true. So where do I end up? In the Vancouver Center, the Brahma Kumaris. And that's how this happened. And something happened that first night. There was that light again. So they had this great big huge picture of Shiva, right? And I kept getting light being thrown on me from this picture. And I'm like, whoa, this is something. I like this. So now there's the second time I see the light, so to speak. And I signed up that night for the 7-day course. They could not start the classes when I was there because I had too many questions. And so we always started with Joanne's questions, question and answer, then they could start. And I would go home and study this stuff in prep for the next week. I loved it. And I've been doing it ever since. And that's basically, it saved my life, because also too, with all these things that I had done, which there's no point, the book will come out later. Who cares? But all those circumstances and stuff that I got in, especially in relationships, love relationships, what I did was I would go from one to the other, no pause. I would keep looking, again, on and on. Not a lot, but they were all painful. And so then what happened when Baba starts to teach? And by the way, at the beginning, I thought I really got it. Like I didn't have a clue what Baba was talking about, but I thought I did. It was enough to keep me going until enough time went by where I started to piece together that this is deep. And once that started to kick in, then I started to take some responsibility and start applying what Baba was talking about. But that didn't happen at the beginning at all. And oh yeah, and this was good too. Sister Karen, the first time I went over to Madhaban, which I guess was about 99, was my first time. On the way back, she said to me, "What do you want to do?" I said, "Well, I want to be a teacher." So she threw me into a teaching role, and I didn't have a clue what I was doing because I didn't know, right? I mean, but Sister Karen likes to get people engaged and help us all out. So that was good. But then I knew I needed to go get further education. So I had to go back to school for some other things. So that ended the teaching. But later on, I realized it was a blessing that in order to be a teacher, a Brahma Kumari teacher, I definitely had the world experience. That was a guarantee. That part was good, but I didn't have a lot of other things in place. So I have found that this knowledge has taken me through different levels of understanding, and somehow through it all, without me knowing how, I ended up changing, which is a miracle because I was really angry and felt that the world really owed me something. And I didn't care about others. Like when you have anger, there's a good reason why you have anger. So Baba also got me to look at taking responsibility for like, why, right? Because you just don't get rid of anger just because it's something that it's a process. And so Baba very lovingly has allowed me to really ask myself hard questions. I've always wanted to be like a really good person, but it was hard to be a really good person. I didn't like my upbringing, and that was a huge issue in my way. There was abandonment and a brother who the word incest. Like it was just a mess, right? So I understand my anger, but others wouldn't know why I was angry. So I needed to do something about it because I kept all this stuff a secret. You know, when Daddy Janki said to me, when I was in Madhaban one year, she said, you know, you need to come out. You need to come out to the Brahmin family. I didn't have a clue what she was talking about, but this is me coming out, just sharing. It's not even looking for anything. It's like Baba is allowing me to do the work that I need to do to heal. And there might even be people online who've experienced that anger, which was not good because it wasn't deserved, because because I was lashing out. And but Baba has been taming the beast in me and making me find it's okay that happened. It was the role that I was given, and so I accept that. And now I'm fully on board with transforming it, and just actually really enjoying my life. And to heck with what happened. Like that's where I'm at with this. It's like, yeah, it wasn't good, and nobody would want that for anybody to happen. But then in the job that I'm in now, I work with seniors, and the pain and the lack of fulfillment that they are experiencing, because life took them by surprise and handed them way more as a senior than when they were younger. So they're losing stuff. They're losing their minds. They're losing their physical abilities. And I'm watching all of this in front of them. And my experience, Baba, is allowing me to actually feel some compassion for what's going on with these souls, and can even just offer a kind word to them, because the school of hard knocks really did prepare me for being able to come up to this point and be able to help others. So that's kind of where I'm at now, and quite different from how I've known myself to be. I don't actually, that part that was so angry, so willing to fight, for my rights, because I ended up feeling I needed to really stand up for myself. It didn't come out well, but I was right. I did need to stand up and take my power back from people who were very abusive. And if people did anything that would trigger anything back into my childhood, they would get a strong reaction from me, not knowing where it was coming from. But so I feel like I know myself way better. And Baba has been very gentle. He knows me. There's no doubt about it. And it takes me to Madhaban. I was asked in one of the experiences there if I wanted to go up on stage and meet Baba. And I said, sure. Got nervous as could be because I didn't have a clue how to be soul conscious. So I was sweating. But when I got up there, oddly enough, I stood in front of Baba and was ready to leave. And he leaned forward to me and started talking to me in Hindi. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. Right. And I don't know, to this day, I have no idea what was said. But that God, I interpreted what was going on there as that person to be the one that was representing God. And so there I was, chosen, special by God, for him to talk to me. And that was like a wow moment. I just felt special. Like there's the idea of God as a parent versus the parents that I had had. This was like 180 degrees turnaround. And that has always stayed with me. I would have loved to have known what was said, but it doesn't matter. The thing is that he actually spoke to me. And I needed that. The next thing that happened that was quite outstanding was an Anubhuti. Daddy Gulzar, so a very special soul in the Brahmin family who is no longer with us, but Daddy Gulzar, very majestic, very majestic soul, powerful. Anyways, I decided I wanted to go say hello to her, and she was standing out on the tarmac. And as I headed over to her, she looked down at me and she said, "Why don't you come to heaven with me?" And I went, whoa. You can't make this stuff up, right? And I just said, okay, why not, right? What have I got to lose? It's only up as far as I was concerned. So it's been like really amazing. And then Daddy Janky, like always very supportive, like all these daddies. Like, I mean, one year I had, oh yeah, this was great. Okay, I go over to Madhavan. I've been about 12 or 13 times. I arrive, it's the first day there. I take a shower, I'm getting ready for class. And on my way, I fall on the marble, but I hobble to class. Daddy Janky's reading the class. And meanwhile, when I fell, I did something serious. So there I am, I'm sitting in class and my foot is pounding. I can hardly concentrate. Anyways, I get taken to the hospital and it was Christmas Day and it was the best gift of all. I had broken my foot and I had to stay in Madhavan for 6 weeks. It was like, oh my God. Oh, it's like I was eating with all these senior brothers and sisters. I was living in Pandavavan. I mean, you just can't make it up. It's like amazing. So there I am with all these seniors, these very special souls. And I'm hobbling around, rubbing shoulders with them. And I just had such a great time. And then at nighttime, I kind of had made a pal with one of the sisters who would come in the evening to visit me and try and teach me Hindi. Well, that was nothing but laughter. Yeah, language is not my thing. So it was just harmony and humor. And that experience really did something to me. That was like, I got an inside view of living in Madhavan and the specialities of all these different souls, and to watch. So I became an observer. I watched them, how they ate, how they behaved. It was amazing. You know, it really was. And so now, I've had all these wonderful experiences. I feel very fortunate because it's really touched me. I've been really touched by it. And it makes me feel quite special that I have this relationship with God. And now I just yak to God all the time. I live on my own. And so I talk out loud because but we converse back and forth. It's a daily thing. I love it. And so I have this very close interaction with God because I really feel that he's the safest one for me to talk to. And then comes the Murli. And there he speaks specifically to me about the kind of work he wants me to do. For instance, today, he was talking about, he was drawing attention to the artists about doing artwork where people would be able to understand Gyan through imagery that would help them get a clearer picture versus the ideas that they have from their own religions, so that it would create something for them to look at and go, to ponder a bit. So I find that Baba talks to me definitely through the Murlis, and when I go quiet, which I haven't been quiet since I've started this, but anyways, that's been my experience. It's been quite different from many other souls, but it's my experience. And thank you for listening.
Thank you, Sister Jan. Says you're definitely a special soul, and you see this unique abilities BKs have. So the journey that BKs go through. If you see, nobody can handle this challenges. What comes in the way of BKs, right? And especially before they come into Gyan. And there is something within us that says like, no, I'm not going to accept this. And I'm going to fight back. There is something within us which says like, I'm going to fight back. And tangibly, we do some crazy stuff. We get through that and then whatever it is. But something mystical happens that keeps the spirit high and going. For example, one of the experience that you're sharing when your dad left the body, and then you had this strong, vivid image of Baba coming. And then I'm sure you would not have words connected to that experiences at that point of time. What is this light? And then people can't say, what are you talking about? And then just go with the motions of the world and whatever is happening there, position and ceremonies and all of the stuff. But something caught your attention, something consoled you, something that is empowering the soul from a subtle level, which we cannot explain at that point of time, right? So in other words, Baba is always there for us. And then Baba is there for every soul, all 8 billion souls who are going through the challenges. But there is something that we Brahmin souls have done, which Baba can use it to help us out, right? And especially in the confluence age where we go into the depth of our sense of self, our self-awareness. We're not just superficial. When we say soul conscious, it is a deep practice. We go and then sit in that presence of I, the being, I, the ancient being, and then stay tuned to that ancient vibe of our own self, right? And then tune back to Baba, the eternal Father, love that we get from Baba, right? And then we invest in that experience. And that experience is ingrained within the consciousness of the soul from the previous cycle, right? In the next cycle, when we go through all this crazy stuff, Baba taps into that experience which we had and then invokes that experience within us and then gives that strength to the soul to keep going, right? And if you see that a lot of people are going through tough times now, and when they are going through the tough time, how they are handling is not the same way as other BKs handle, right? And it is very unique how we comprehend the situations that we are put into and take it for our own advantages to move forward in Gyan. And that's a beautiful thing that I always cherish in every BK, every Brahmin, that they take the disadvantage and then see how that propelled them to the next phase of their consciousness, right? It pushed them to seek for the true love. They didn't compromise for, okay, this is the world, let's deal with it and then live with it. No, they never compromise with that. They let go of it, they push forward, they do some crazy stuff to push forward and then seek for the real thing, right? So on that note, I just want to give a little pause and then check in with everyone to take a quick reflection on your own personal journey. Baba was always looking after us. Try to recognize that moment. Take a minute, try to recognize that moment. not judging yourself based on the situation that is happening, but go beyond that judgment based on Laukic morality and stuff, and then go beyond and see what is your true strength that keep you going to look for Baba. Om Shanti. Welcome back. So did everyone got a chance to travel back in your memory track? Because those incidents give us clues on our true sanskara. So when we recognize that true sanskara within us, you cannot not be you. You cannot not be that deity soul. So the key here, when Dadi Janki or Baba always says, know who you are and who you belong to. Of course, from Gyan, you already know that you're a soul, you're a deity soul, you are Baba's child, most precious. But from your own personal experiences, can you recognize that? And experiences will acknowledge the truth within you. Philosophies will not, right? And feel free to unmute yourself and share your unique sanskara and the incident that helped you to recognize Baba, right? Like Sister Joanne was sharing, she has gone through the tough times in her childhood, but her deep desire for true love always gave this mystical experience of Baba coming in different forms, always helping her, even in the crash that she went through in the car, or when she's starting to build her relationship with her father again, and all these things, right? But her true desire to know the truth, true love, is always there. So does anyone want to unmute yourself and share what is your unique sanskara? Anyone? Sister Kim?
Om Shanti. First of all, I just want to say thank you, Sister Joanne, for sharing such honesty and such love I feel in your heart. And determination is what I think of, to go beyond that pain and heal, that willingness to heal. And so I think that probably that willingness to heal, that determination is what I can resonate with. And I can remember telling God, now look, you need to reveal yourself to me. I need to get something here. So I could really identify with that. And I think that with my weaknesses, I've grown a lot out of those weaknesses. And it's been those weaknesses that I've had to recognize and say, okay, I can deal with it. I'm tired of running. I'm tired of running from me. And I need to deal with myself, regardless of what else is going on. And so that the Brahma Kumaris has really helped me with the knowledge. And I too, I don't think I really got it in the beginning. I was really gung-ho and wanting to go so fast, like a horse. I wanted to run. But, and I thought I had it, but I really didn't. I mean, something you said, Sister, about the depth, and the Gyan is so deep, and it takes time to really understand it. And sometimes I feel like I don't even, the more I know, the more I don't know. So it's just fascinating. Thank you again for your share.
Thank you, Sister Kim. I know that is a deep statement, that more you go deeper into this Gyan, more you'll start realizing that, wow, this is a exciting journey inside into the depth of consciousness. And especially when Baba says like it's a pilgrimage, it is a long way home. It is not through your walk. It's not you're physically doing anything. With your consciousness, you're dwelling deep. It's deep, and it's a fun journey. And then Baba gives all the help that is needed. We got to follow through that trail, right? Follow through the thread that he has left behind to stay harnessed to this cliff. Right? So you have given a safety net of Brahmins, all the families there. When you're threading on this thin line, stay harnessed to Murli. Murli could be the harness that will hold you together when you sleep together. Murlis are always there. Because especially when we go into the subtle, all of your deepest traumas will come alive, all of your deepest phobias come alive, all of your worst sanskaras will come alive. But that will make you believe that you are not a good person. But that's when the strength is needed. Nobody from outside can help you out there. Only Baba can help us from inside, right? And the Murlis are so beautiful. And especially when we understand the depth of what Baba is telling, when we relate from that stage where we are stuck, we can see how Baba talks about how to free ourselves from that sticky emotion or sticky sanskara or some trauma that you can't even comprehend, right? It is some heavy feeling. Sometimes you can't even put words. It does not feel good. I don't know what it is. And Baba knows that. And when we listen to Murlis at that level, Baba pulls us out of that heaviness. And you don't even know that you got through that pass. You passed through that heavy stage, right? And that's beautiful. That's very incognito when Baba says, like, this is whole army is getting built incognito, and this is how he's building. Thank you. Thank you very much. Anyone else wants to share? Kalpana Ben.
I don't know if this exactly applies to what we were saying, but this is not only after I've come into Gyan. I think I've felt Baba's hand working in my life in very interesting ways, where I was trying to resolve a problem in a certain way, and it didn't get resolved that way. But the solution that came to that problem was much better than what I could have even imagined. So let me give you a practical example. This was 2 years ago. We had a condo in San Diego that we were trying to sell. And the condo was in great shape, great location. We had priced it right. And we had it on the market for almost 3 months, and it didn't sell. We only got one offer, which was ridiculously low. So we decided to rent the condo. And 2 years later, this was in November last year, 2021, we put it back on the market, and it sold in 4 days, and we got a much higher price, plus the 2 years rent. Much higher price. So that the condo didn't sell for a reason then. And it was for my best interest that it didn't sell. But at that time, you fret and you fume and you say, why is this not working? But I feel this invisible hand working in my life more and more. And if I don't resist what is happening, the best will happen. You know?
Yeah, yeah.
And it almost seems there's a parallel world going on where everything's being arranged for me.
Oh, that's
And
true.
I need to get out of the way.
Yeah. And that's so beautiful, right? Like if you actually see when the situations are happening, there are two forces which are working. And one force is like drama is optimal, kalyankari, beneficially optimally designed for us to whatever karmic accounts need to be settled. And at the same time, it is also designed for the best outcome for us at that point of time in that situations, right? And that is a collective force which is working. Drama is not one soul or one person. It is a collective force which is designed for the goodness of everyone. And there is another forces which is our own sanskaras, right? Our sanskaras, where our mind gets influenced by our own limited sanskaras, and then we are putting up another energy which is to force it to tuke it. And at the same time, it doesn't mean that you should stop thinking about it and drop the ball and walk away, right? You got accountability of the situation, you got to act what it is, but when to stop, when to think, when not to think, when you did your best, and then when to let go, right? So that fine balance, how do you discriminate that? And that is what we learn as we listen to Murlis more and more. So because our mind is optimal resource, and that will help us to keep that resource is what we need to optimize. Where am I investing that? My thoughts, where am I investing it, right? Beautiful uh, uh, art, like Sister Joanne says, it's an art. It is not black and white. It one fit for all kind of thing. It won't work that way.
And just now, when you were saying it, suddenly the thought came to me that the drama is set up for you to evolve spiritually.
That's true, because you are a spirit, nothing else than that.
Right.
Its concern is for you, the soul, not for you, the role.
The role.
Just tampered left, right, everywhere, and then you can't even comprehend why the role is that way.
Right, right.
Mama
But
is
you're
concerned about you, the soul, not the role. Yeah.
not the role. That's very well put. That drama is for the soul, not the role. And we get so caught up in the role and we feel we know what's best for us. Like even Sister Kim was, when she had the session about what she went through with her illness and all that, what came out through it is she got more deeper and deeper into this path. So what seemed like a bad thing is meant to take you to the next step, to evolve to the next step spiritually. So nothing is bad, is what I was.
Yeah. And only those who have tread that path will know that. That's a secret. Not everyone can relate to what we are saying.
Absolutely. And for me now, it's becoming natural to think that way. I don't resist things as much as I used to. And in today's Murli, Baba said, natural attention should become your nature. So I am getting more nyara, more detached from the situation and saying, what's hidden in here for my best interest? It's no longer, what am I going to get out of this situation? It's, this situation is going to propel me to the next level spiritually.
That's so beautiful, right? We cannot not be selfish. It is good, selfishness, but you know who the self is now, right? And then we realign that what is good for me, the soul. So it is easy for us to, because Baba has clearly given these two realizations, like what it feels to be your soul, what it feels to be stuck in the sanskaras or the role or the situation, or it all comes in the form of justification. Right? It's not fair, women are treated illy, and then my childhood was bad, and the whole world is bad, and the whole world is against me. And you have a valid reasons to be angry, like Sister Joanne was telling. But Do you want to sit there and stay angry, or you want to step out and then see what is the bigger you, right? The beauty of a Brahmin can realize, get a realization of what it feels to be a soul beyond all of this drama, right? And then look at this like, okay, now I have to deal with this thing now. So now you have two things to compare against, right? You can say like, I want to be better. And that I is actually I, the soul, right? And then, once you have a place for yourself, then from that point of view, you start working, right? For most of the people, they can't separate that self from all that identity that has built over a period of time. That injustice, it may look like an injustice that may have done in a short span of time, but in a big span, they can't see because they don't know, they can't remember all of that stuff, they can't comprehend all of that stuff. But if we are stuck there, it is hard for us to relate to any philosophy, any karma, any simple things also, spiritual things, you can't even relate when we are stuck in that awareness. And that's the beauty. I'm appreciating Joanne Ben's not just the sharing, but who she is. She has this ability to use a sense of humor. It's not an easy task to laugh it off, right? When you have gone through a really tough time, your consciousness gets hijacked. You can't think straight. Once you go through a trauma, a phobia will just hijack your sense of self. It can't budge you to move away. And then laughter, the humor is the powerful force that unshackles you from that bondage. And I really appreciate, because when you have real life role models around you, you really appreciate. Because of course, if somebody is very elevated, they never gone through any traumas, and then they got into a spiritual path, so who cares? I can't relate to you. You have a separate path. Somebody has gone through a tough time, went through the mess, and then if I'm going through the similar mess, I can relate to you and I can learn something from you, right? And not as a philosophy. So don't teach me all the concepts. I can read out for myself. I want to see how you dealt with it, right? And that gives a more solid, concrete strength to follow through, right? And I'm really feeling blessed to have all the Brahmin family in our life, right? So each one color each other.
And we still have to struggle with our sanskaras. Not that that's all done with and we see ourselves as a soul and everything is perfect in life. But the more you have these experiences, like you said, the more it feels natural to say, okay, there's a superior force guiding my life.
And definitely you're not fighting it alone. And then you'll see the whole family is with us, right?
Yes. That's what gives you the courage to go on. Because everybody has ups and downs in their life. And like you said, you hear of another person's experience and you say, I'm not the only one going through this. And see how bravely this person came out of it. So we are blessed. Yeah. So thank you, Harsha Pai. And I love your Monday evening sessions. They are so focused on experiences, anubhav.
And then I feel these are the real experiences. Real people. And these are the people meant to be brought up in the gathering, because these are the role models. This is part of the family. You will never get to know the family as better as you can in confluence age. Not any time in the kalpa. Not even in golden age, not even in copper age, not even in iron age when we are going through our hardship. Never can relate to our family. This is the only time. We can talk freely.
That's true. That's true. And I had visited Madhuban 25 years ago. We had gone there with a friend. I wasn't into Gyan then. And we had gone to Peace Park with Dadi Janki and Dadi Gulzar. I don't know if I related this story earlier. And Dadi Janki asked Sister Jenna, who's from Washington, D.C., to take us to Madhuban and show us around. And I didn't get into Gyan for the last 25 years. But boom, come this pandemic. And a friend of mine said, I'm doing this course. Do you want to do it? And I found the perfect teacher and the perfect parivar, and all the forces came together. You know, I knew about Brahma Kumaris. I visited Madhuban, but it had to come together at this time. So thank you, Om Shanti. I won't take up any more time.
Thank you. Sister Jan, would you like to add more to the power of family?
Yeah.
Brahmin family.
Yeah, we're special.
We are definitely special souls.
Yeah, we really are. Like when I see the other people in the world that I come across and their struggles, they don't have this knowledge. This knowledge is critical for solving problems, and they don't have it. And some are adamant to keep what they've got, whatever religion it is. They're not interested in anything else. Yet they're in so much sorrow, and it's amazing. And yet we as a family, we're all going about doing our business with the awareness that these problems that we've got, there are tests, and there are some are karmic accounts, but we're able to talk to ourselves first about how to get out of it. And that's really critical. Like this evening, on my way home from work, I drove in. I was having a chit chat with myself. The good thing about all this technology is people think that you're actually talking to somebody, but I'm just talking to myself, and they won't think anything odd about it. Good times. But I stopped. I stayed in the car and I talked to myself. I kind of like this little one that's part of me, my kid, was talking to me about how she felt. And I listened. Her feelings were like, wow, she was knocking me right off of how she felt about what had happened. And we can do this and then apply knowledge. So Baba's making us very independent so that we don't need others to problem solve. So we can do it. Baba's training us to be able to solve our own problems, which is phenomenal, because look at the problems. They're massive. And so as a family, we collectively are doing this. There's no other group in the world collectively doing this with Baba's knowledge. So that makes us highly unusual. And I feel that when we all go out into the world, we're taking something they drastically need, because we have an understanding of something that can only come from studying Baba's knowledge. And it's a phenomenal thing I feel that we're doing. We're very unique. Baba's very unique. And also too, I really recognize that each one that has been chosen by God, because that's the way it works, if, you know, I can remember Denise Ben saying, if you could find God, don't you think you would have on your own? You would have, but you can't. This is, you're chosen intentionally. That's how special each one is. Like really, truly a diamond. Even if it's in the rough, it doesn't matter. You're a diamond. And Baba just loves us to pieces. It's phenomenal. So I got what I wanted, which was the love.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing. And especially, you know, like daddies are very close to that way of tapping into Baba's mind. And then they think like Baba, right? And then they can recognize the souls like Baba, right? So when Dadi Gulzar told you that, oh, would you like to come with me to the heaven? I don't think she has said that to everyone, every Brahmin, right? There is something with her that made her say what she said, right? And either she liked or she's resonated something sacred. It's not just sacred, it is something relatable at her level, that, oh, I want you to be coming to the golden age. Would you like to come with me, right? And that's so beautiful. Right? And there is nothing in this physical birth that you can tell that, okay, look, God has found me because I did that. There is no because of. It is what it is, right? So, and that's a beautiful thing. And I want to ask one more question. Is there any special place that you go to when you meditate with your mind, right? May not be physically, but with your mind. Is there any special place that you go to in your mind that make you very free, peaceful, very safe, very much loud?
Well, I can share that my experience has changed. Yeah, it's gone through all kinds of different stages. But lately, I love putting on music and words. I want to experience what those words are saying. I want the experience. And I feel it's, why with the words is because I feel it's Baba talking to me about how, whatever those words are about. And it's opening up my heart. It's actually cracking my heart open, this part, which I never, ever saw that happening before, but I know he's doing it. And it's an intuitive thing that I am very intuitive with how I do my meditations now. It's not, I don't follow a program. I'm not interested. Baba's made me very independent. I like my own thing, and I'm a loner. And so lately it's to do with, like I was sharing with you this morning, that song that you were playing. Those words, that's like, wow, I really resonate with this, the love and the heart and the, like, who saw that coming for me? Like, people, if anyone had bet on me, they'd all be losing today. It's like fantastic, right? It's good. And so that's how I'm doing my meditations. It's very much, I want this love relationship, and using the music, which is touches me, it's emotional. And then I want the words, I want that love relationship. So that's what I'm doing with my meditations these days. So it'll change, but that's where I'm at right now.
Beautiful, beautiful. Definitely, it is not a physical place that you go with your mind that you can visualize, imagine, and make things tangible in your head, but it is a place in your heart, if I'm hearing correctly. So you and then how do you get there? It has to be, you have to follow through your intuition, convert that words and into a feeling, and let that trail of feeling take you to that special place. Beautiful. So anything else would you like to share about Madhuban? How do you feel being in the Madhuban family around? How does it feel to be? Do you feel something closer to your golden age or angelic stage when you're amongst?
Well, when I was in Pandav Bhavan, I felt, because that was the home of Brahma Baba, and I felt that was a privilege. Like, I mean, I get to stay in Madhuban for 6 weeks, not 2, and experience that all over again next kalpa, as well as this sharing is all going to get repeated, you know. But I think the vibrations of Brahma there and his effort, I don't know, it's different from the other 2 places. Really different. To me, this is the original, like where Brahma Baba was, Pandav Bhavan. And I just love it there. I'm not interested in the other 2 places per se, though I like Gyan Sarovar. I do. That's got a different feel to it. But Pandav Bhavan, that's the real thing. That's where it began, right? That's the roots of the whole thing. It's right. It's embedded in the ground. And you cannot, that's got a very different vibe from the other places, because Brahma Baba walked it every day. All the kids were there. The whole family was growing up there. It's there, right? And it has there's a feeling. I can't say what it is. There's a feeling to it that's very unique and different. Anyone that's been to Madhuban knows this for a fact, right?
That's true. That's true. Yeah, it's really beautiful, and like Davyak Muli, that happened, zeal and enthusiasm, and you definitely embody that. And definitely Gyan and yoga is a big portion of zeal and enthusiasm. Don't just settle down for the words and the concepts, but convert them into an intuition, convert them into a feeling, and then follow through that thread to Baba's heart. It's so beautiful. Thank you very much. And then I would like to play the song that we played in the morning. So hopefully we will invoke that feeling now. So if you can tap into that.
love you. And I love you. Are a star. Wish everyone could see. You should improve my heart. Oh yeah. Showing me that love can really heal. Can really heal. Can really heal. It's the love I feel. 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 Can really heal. It's the love I feel.
Thank you. Thank you, Joanne Ben, for this beautiful sharing, invoking all that zeal and enthusiasm in every one of us. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Our Brahmin family is very unique. Oh, sure. Very special. Thank you. Om Shanti. Have a beautiful rest of the evening.